Sumire is an indie game released in 2021 for the Nintendo Switch, PC, and Mac. This game was brought to my attention through the comment section of another video, so thank you for the recommendation. Anyway, Sumire is a narrative-driven exploration game focused around a girl named Sumire, and the game revolves around life issues such as family and friendship, right and wrong, etc. The art style has a nice water painterly feel, and the music is overall pretty nice, fitting, and relaxing. The game is super cheap, usually $10 or less when in one of the many sales, so for that reason, I think it's a pretty good investment, money to time wise. Cheap is good, and a nice art style is great, but we want to answer the question, can you learn Japanese with Sumire? Firstly, the Japanese level of this game is very approachable. It uses some kanji and has no furigana, but in general it's mostly simple language, a variety of everyday topics, but most importantly, most things make sense in context, which is one of the reasons learning via video games is better than from a textbook. I'll admit, there were some words and expressions that I didn't know while playing through, but overall, I think a lot of the words you will come across are the same as those in your more traditional kanji vocab study, kind of using Anki systems. So, seeing these words in context really helps join the meaning, reading, and usage together. The story has some magical, mystical elements to it, which might call for some more uncommon words at times, but on the whole, I'd say it's a pretty good level. The major downside is there is no voice acting in the game, but from the credits, this game was made by a tiny team, and for the price, you can't expect full voice acting. But the font is big enough, and you can take your time to read everything at your own pace, apart from a certain minigame that I'll get to later. The story is somewhat linear. You pretty much just go left and interact with anything and anyone you can to learn more about the town, the story, and your partner, the flower. I don't think there's any part of the game where you can get stuck. Even if so, the ability to switch language to English at almost any time within a couple of seconds should be able to help you out. The game does seem to have some sort of karma system, and to see everything the game has to offer might need another playthrough, but honestly I'm not sure how deep this system runs. On an emotional level, I felt kinda bad if I chose the negative option, and that could be punishment enough. There is a map with which you can fast travel, and a quest log of people you can help in the menu, but these are all optional as far as I can tell. There's lots of people to talk to, and definitely a lot of things you can miss if you just run through the game. So as with most games used as a language learning tool, I would really recommend you to take your time and interact with everything possible. The gaming to learning ratio in Sumire is very much towards the learning end of the spectrum, and by that I mean there isn't an awful lot of gaming. The distance between things to interact with is very minimal, and maybe 85% of the game is conversation, dialogue, and descriptions, which is really great for studying, but that does cause one major problem, which is fun factor. As already mentioned, I think the art style is wonderful, and walking around and interacting with people and animals and things is just really cool. Seeing Japanese cultural symbols such as the shrines and even post boxes gives you that sense of being on holiday, when maybe we can't visit Japan right now. And the story of the game is pretty emotion driven, and it might really resonate with some people. It's a really interesting game, but I can't say that it's fun. There are some mini games within the game, such as card games, board games, and some red light, green light style thing, but these are all very shallow or just a bit boring, unfortunately. At least with the card games, trying to understand the instructions and rules of the game in Japanese is an extra challenge. But overall, it's not a game I'd like to play again. Okay, so if we have a quick look at this, it says, この石って私が生まれた時からここにあるの? So this stone has been here since I was born, right? And then the best thing about this game for learning a language is at any time, we can just hit start, go to the options, one click, change it to English, and then go back. And we have, this old stone has been here since I was born, right? So we have like a verified translation at any time. And then we want to go back to Japanese, here we are. So we can just find something else to interact with. What's this? この辺は草とお庭って呼んでるの. So like we call this the weedy area, the weed area. なんだか悲しいね. That's sad. おばあちゃんが死んじゃってから草が伸び放題なのに。So it's like since my grandmother died, the grass can just grow as much as it wants. ママは知らんぷり、私もちゃんとお世話はできないけど。So my mom just pretends she doesn't see it and I can't look after it. ここのお花に水をやってるんだ。ご苦労様です。So I water it. Or I will water it. Should we switch it back to English? See what this says. We have how sad. Just how sad. You're not going to say it again? Okay. Maybe some things you can only do once. Did it just say how sad? Okay. So sometimes you can't hear the exact same thing twice, which is annoying. It's cold. 私何やってんだろう? What am I doing? とそれでさ、向こうにカラスがいるみたい。カラス？どうしよう。もちろん進むしかないけど、お花さんが助けてくれるんでしょ？無理、僕なんて朝ごはんに食べられちゃうよ。So I'll be eaten by it. そうなの？なら帰ろうよ。So if that's true, let's just go back. ダメだよ。前へ進まなきゃ。So we gotta go forward. We gotta keep going. 僕も後ろをついていくからさ。So I'll be behind you. それじゃ目をつぶって駆け抜けようか。So just close your eyes and run. 出た。カラス。So カラス is crow, right? 怖くない。It's not scary. そこの小娘。So you girl. うわ、やば。引き返せ。Just like leave. ここはお前の世界ではない。It's like you don't belong here. It's not your world. でも富士の木のところへ行かなきゃ。So we need to go to the Fuji tree. なんだと？だから富士の木のとこへ行かなきゃダメなの。So we gotta go, we must go, we need to go. よし、前へ進む。クラスに影に気をつけて、ひらりとかわすのさ。ひらりとは、I feel like that means like carefully, slowly, ひらりと. Yeah, like nimbly, lightly. It's like tread lightly. ひらりとかわす. So like you just go, and then a crow comes, and you just push A. And then you just push A. You need it, but I should have stayed at home. So like, it's not as challenging as the game gets. There are some like puzzles and games, but in general, that's about as bad as it gets. Just, push a button. カラスに石を投げる？当然。行かせてあげようと。So it's saying, do you want to throw a stone at the crow? Yeah, of course. Or no, let's let it go. So the game's got like a karma system. So do we want to do the moral right thing? Do we want to do the nice thing? Or do we want to, be a bit mean? Do we want to get even, right? So when I played this game, I said, ikasete, so let it go. So this time I'm going to be mean and I'm going to throw a rock at it. Oh, is that it? But as you can see, I got some bad karma. So there we go. And then the happy music comes back. So there's not much else to say. This is the game. You basically just go and talk to things, like not necessarily people. Like there's a scarecrow over there, we can talk to him. But you just talk to things. This is a wheelbarrow. So let's see. So it uses to transport rice around the rice paddy. Oh, Sumire. Kakashi mo shabetteru. So Kakashi is scarecrow. Shabetteru, speaking. Domo Kakashi-san. Shoshi wa dou? 今日のカラスどもは 虫の居所が悪くてよ。居所って何? Where something is, something's whereabouts. Okay, makes sense. Like eat as in like iru, and then tokoro as in place, idokoro. I think this is an example where kanji would have been easier. But fine. Sumishi no idokoro warukute no yo. I guess. Ome-san no ba-chan ni kago no chikara o ukatta tte kendo. I guess that means kedo, but he's speaking like an accent. It's like your grandmother's power, right? Your grandmother's protection. So that power is fading, I guess. So the crows are like insulting him, basically. So he wants to stop being a scarecrow, right? So we'll go to the tree and we'll tell grandmother. Madenno ka? Tasukete kunno ka? So can you help me? Can she help me, the grandmother? Hopefully. So, 後でまた助けに戻るって約束してくれるか? So saying like, can you promise to come back and help me? 多分俺昼までまたねえんだよ. So saying, かかしさんを助ける. So 約束する? So yes, I promise to help him. おごめん無理かも. So sorry, I don't think I can. We were evil last time, let's be nice. We'll say yes, I promise, we'll come back and help you. 約束するんだわ。お昼までに戻っていくんだぞ. So come back before noon. それまで頑張ってね. Okay, so what I might quickly do is come back and help the scarecrow later. Yeah, okay, so I need to go to the tree. And then I'll help the scarecrow quickly, because there's a mini game I want to show you, which is kind of like stressful. So I'll be right back to help the scarecrow. So another quick thing is this game has got lots of like, authentic Japanese influence, right? So here we've got like a ginger shrine, and then like the Tori gate, and then there's like a mini shrine over here. And all of these, like the descriptions actually tell you about what it is and like what it's for and stuff. So it, for learning Japanese in this kind of Japanese influence, Japanese inspired environment, it's pretty cool. Learn about Japanese stuff in Japanese. It is cool, but at the same time, there are some words where you're like, well, what is that, right? It's a Japanese word in Japanese. I don't know what that is, but you can take your time, you can research stuff, you can look up kanji, look up words. So I think it's good. Anyway, I've been rambling. We're nearly back at the scarecrow, and let me show you this mini game real quick, because it's kind of stressful. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of stressful. Alright, so it's like, you came back, of course. Where are the crows? あいつら人間が見てない隙に寄ってたかって悪口を言ってくんだ. So the crows are like saying stuff when the humans aren't looking, when they're not around. 俺の心はずっと食べ. So it's got like this country kind of accent. ずっと what is that, like deflated? ずっと Yeah, like shredded, torn to pieces. Makes sense. かかしを続けてく. God damn. からしを続けてく自信がねえだよ. So he doesn't have the confidence to keep going. Yeah, またやつらダメ. So like, the crows are coming again. Okay, so we need to solve these puzzles, and there's like a time limit, right? So you just switch them around. So what do we want first? We probably want anata wa first, right? Like the subject. So if we game over it, anata wa ripa na. So like a splendid ripa na. Oh, how about 豪華で Okay, so it's on the next one. We've got a timer. No time to think. No time to think. あなたの家族はみんな幸せ. Everyone's happy. あなたの夢は何でも叶う. So all of your dreams can come true. Maybe あなたはみんなに必要と. So people need you. People rely on you. あなたの心, your heart is extremely big. 私にはあなたは大切な友達. Maybe this one around. You are a good friend to me. You. So あなたは自分の仕事をやってる. So you're doing your job. Probably start with あなたは. あなたのface. 大地の香り. What does that mean? 大地. Not 愛知. 大地の. It can't mean 大地 is in like the earth. I'm not sure. Should have played it in English. But yeah, so there we go. That's like the most stressful thing in the whole game. It's because of the 10-second timer. Like it's really rough. But there we go. We helped the scarecrow do his job. But yeah, so the scarecrow definitely speaks with a bit of an accent. So that might not be the best for learning, but you'll hear that accent in anime and manga and stuff. So it's worth getting used to. Anyway, back to the main video now, I guess. 超かっこいい. So, we've analyzed Sumire as a Japanese learning tool, and now it's time for the verdict. Can you learn Japanese with Sumire? The answer is absolutely yes. The language and kanji I feel are pretty appropriate for beginners, albeit probably quite challenging for absolute beginners. But challenge leads to growth, so embrace it. For everyone else, it's a great chance to practice reading, grammar, and vocab in context. And most importantly, the game's not too long. So if you're yet to finish a game in Japanese, Sumire is a great candidate to say, hey, I played and finished an entire game in Japanese, and use that feeling to motivate you to keep going and complete longer and more difficult games in the future. However, if you're a fan of FPS games or RPGs, I feel like the lack of actual things to do in this game could make it more of a chore than enjoyable. So with everything, if it's not fun, stop. Anyway, let me know if you've played Sumire, or if you plan on giving it a try after watching this analysis. And of course, give me some more recommendations for other games you think are efficient, effective ways to study Japanese. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your language learning friends. Thanks for watching. I've been Joe from Zento. Bye!